So earlier today, me and Mildred watched the new Hulu original show, What Lives Inside. Mainly because we finished binge watching Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt on Netflix. So the first episode was only 12 minutes, but it's enough to get a good idea of what the show's going to be like. From what I can tell, it's Big Fish meets Coraline meets the Muppets. So it starts out with like this old guy making puppets, and after he finishes one puppet, we see his son Taylor. And for some reason they have problems with each other, but he's watching a news report on how his dad died recently and how he was some famous artist who had a popular children's show on television that was running for a really long time. So his friend, who may or may not be the comic relief, it's kind of hard to tell at this point in the show. So he gives him a card saying that's signed by everybody in the office to give him condolences for his dad having died. So he gives him a pep talk and brings him to his mom's house and says that even though he had issues with his father, his mother needs him now. So they walk in on her obsessively vacuuming, which is when she starts telling them about how much she's going to miss her husband. So Taylor goes upstairs and starts going through some of his dad's stuff, and he like finds a bunch of cards and things they gave each other for each other's birthdays. So after a while, he decides that he's gonna go through his dad's workshop, and he finds the puppet he was working on right before he died, and there's like all these different costumes and things everywhere that he used for his show. So he walks up to this little door from the opening that I assume was probably from his dad's television show or something, labeled knock. So he knocks on the little door, and then he hears a knock coming back at him. So he decides to open the little door and go inside. And there's like this big dark room where there's nothing but sand on the floor, and a spotlight comes up, and we see that the spotlight is showing like this sketch that has a fancy golden frame around it. So he goes up, and when he touches the sketch, it becomes an elaborate painting with color. So after that, several more spotlights come up, and he goes around, like, touching all the different sketches, and they become paintings. And after he's touched enough of them, the whole room becomes a world from its dad's television show, and there's, like, giant teddy bears and, like, needles growing out of the ground for some reason. And all the grass is, like, checkered colored and stuff. And then the last thing we see before the trailer ended was like a wolf barking at him or something. The trailer is very brief, but it's enough to tell that that you can expect a good show out of this. Come back next week when I review the next episode.